pages.
The Extraordinary Adventure of David and Ethan, written and illustrated by Watermanon. This story is dedicated to Trevor Scott Matea for giving us the freedom to write our own stories. Two friends, David and Ethan, had a super boring life because they lived in a little house near the highway. They wanted to go on an adventure, but also thought at the same time that it was a stupid idea, so they never went on the adventure. Well, of course. Every day in their life was the same. Wake up, eat, go to school, eat, go home, do homework, eat, repeat. It was like this every day, even on the weekends. It was like this because the teachers thought they needed education every day. While he was in bed one night, Ethan had his second thoughts about the adventure because he knew it would be fun, even if it would be dangerous. Ethan thought, should I choose danger and live a happy life, or stay here and continue to live a terrible life? He chose danger and live a happy life. Next morning at 7 o'clock sharp, after Ethan and David ate breakfast, people in cars on the highway could hear Ethan and David saying, "Let's go on an adventure." You lost your mind? Dude, what the heck is wrong with you? Yelled David. Well, it's not a bad idea, Ethan said in his defense. Fine, you can go on the adventure without me, David yelled again. Okay, then you don't get to have the excitement that all adventures have. Fine, we can do it next week. Next week, of course, David and Ethan went through a list they made for their upcoming adventure. Good food and water. Check. Tense. Whack. Wait, did I say whack? Asked Ethan. Yes, you did, Ethan. Can't you hear yourself? Replied David. At 2:30 in the afternoon, they packed and were ready to go. They tried to steal the plane at the airport and were caught. Hey, you! What the heck are you doing? You duck in that plane? Well, you are. I shall kill ya, Stoida, said the security guard. He chased them all over. Finally, they got into the plane, closed the door, left the security guard in the dust, and turned on autopilot to go to the Amazon rainforest, knowing it had many dangerous and cool things. They flew for 1 hour when the plane started shaking. First, Ethan was calm and said, "It's just a very big turbulence." Turbulence! Ethan yelled. It was nice living with you, David. Ethan said calmly and sadly. You too, Ethan, David said. 3 hours later, Ethan woke up. Are we dead? Ethan says. Don't know, David said. Wait, if we are dead, we would not see the wrecked plane. We must be alive. They got out of the wrecked plane and both said, where in the world are we? Are we on an undiscovered island? Are we on an undiscovered town? Maybe an undiscovered island. Let's discover the island. This place. They got everything they took that wasn't broken, of course, and went looking for somewhere to sleep. Ethan said, I'm starting to regret this, but we crashed our jet and don't have phones to call the police, but we have tablets to call people and hangouts to tell them about it. They tried to count their only other friend, Milan, who they met before his family moved, but they couldn't reach him because they were way too far. They went went closer, but they were still way too far. They climbed the mountain and called him. Speaking of the mountain, when they crashed on the island, it had a mountain. They climbed the mountain and called him. They finally got him on the line. Woo! They talked to him for an hour before they heard the police was going to rescue them. David truly jumped 13 feet into the air. Unfortunately, the police couldn't find them, so they had to look for passing planes, ships, and helicopters. When they saw 1, 2, and 3, one helicopter, one ship, and one plane, and then before they saw a helicopter flying towards them, and that was happening right now. So they moved out of the way. It landed right next to them. One got out and asked them to come in so they could go to and live in the city where he lived. Ethan and David lived with Milan and his dad Trevor, as well as Milan's mom Emily, in an apartment because they spent some money on taxis, some on food and water, and some on their transport, like their own helicopter. They couldn't buy a house near some woods where they could always go on more adventures. Project reflection. My story is inspired by Roald Dahl in 3 ways. To start, my story's protagonists are children. David and Ethan are children. Roald Dahl uses that trick lots of times, including with Matilda. In Matilda, who tries to stop her mean, vicious, evil headmaster, Miss Trunchbull. George and George's marvelous medicine, who tried to stop his nasty grandma, and James from James and the Giant Peach, who tries to go away from the worst aunts to ever live on planet Earth. In those stories, the protagonists are children, and there are many more examples. Second, I include dialogue. My favorite scene is, "Hey, Joe! What on earth are you doing? You've taken that plane? Well, you are. I shall kill ya, sweetie." Roald Dahl uses dialogue a lot too, like in Danny, the Champion of the World. I think about half of that book is in dialogue. The last thing is that I use a variety of drab, backwards words like story, idiots, way, you, and edude. Roald Dahl uses drab words a lot, like S-E-O tortoise, and S-E-O trot, and the Vicar of Nibbleswick. It says piss 5 times in the Vicar of Nibbleswick. The funny thing is that piss is sip backwards as well, and it's not a nice way to say that you are going to the bathroom. Now you can see how my story is inspired by Roald Dahl. Zdravo! My nickname is Watermanon. About the author. Zdravo! My nickname is Watermanon. I am a 2nd grade student in Trevor's classroom at Stevenson Pact Elementary School. I live in Mountain View, California with my mom, dad, and little sister. We live in a condominium complex with 2 pools, one big one and one small. I have lots of Legos. I have a few blocks full. I like to learn about math. I like Legos too, and I have a few blocks full, as I said before. Math is important because it teaches you to add, divide, subtract, and multiply, all which are required for most jobs. Outside of school, I enjoy playing video games and reading. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Sega, Star Wars Commander, and Minecraft are my favorite video games. The Asterix series are my favorite series of books. I decided to write The Extraordinary Adventure of David and Ethan because they just popped into my head after reading the title of The Great Adventure of Tommy and Timmy by Fire Dragon 210. During the process of writing it, I learned when to use parentheses. Thank you for taking the time to read my story.